Hello, everybody. Welcome. We're live. I'm Shana Tibi from Curated Connections. I am a certified matchmaker. And tonight I have a really special show for you. So thank you so much for joining. We are ready to move forward from 2020 to 2021 and to see what's going to happen. And I would love to introduce to you my special guest today. Her name is Stefanie Caponi. She's an astrologer and she is so amazing. You guys are going to love her. Let's give a hey, Stefanie, how are you?
Hi, Shana. Thank you so much for having me. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so happy you're here today. So I know people are anxious to just jump right in and to hear a little bit about Moon Void Tarot. Can you tell me about yourself and your business?
Yes. So I am an astrologer and a tarot reader in Brooklyn, New York. But I offer readings worldwide via Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, COVID, for opening us all up to that. I created my very own tarot deck. It's called the Moon Void Tarot.
Nice.
But I read with multiple decks. As well as I have just recently this year put out my first major publication book. It's called Guided Tarot.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's a beginner's book. So if you've never picked up a tarot deck, it's perfect.
So Stefanie, are you saying that if somebody had your book, it's something they can guide themselves through?
Yes, it's really about not only learning how to read tarot and learning the card descriptions, but also how to develop your intuition.
Oh, wow. That's pretty exciting. You know what? I didn't tell everybody what we're calling our show tonight. We are an evening of love and stars. So the love, a lot of times, Stefanie, we've chatted quite a bit recently in preparation to get to know each other, to hear about, what you do, what I do. And I wanted you to be on this show so badly because oftentimes when people come to a matchmaker, they're ready to meet somebody. But when people come to you, they also want to know, like, am I going to find love? What's blocking me from love? Like all of these questions. So I would love for you to kick it off. And I know you have a lot in store in regards to what is the love forecast, as I've been calling it, for 2021.
Yeah, 2020 was rough.
Yeah.
The astrology really supported that.
Okay.
So I think moving forward into 2021, we're about to come into some brand new energy. And the new year always starts off in Capricorn season. So if anybody knows anything about astrology, or even if you don't, Capricorn is an earth sign that's extremely determined, self-motivated, focused. Capricorn themes are structure, stability, and commitment.
Okay.
So although it doesn't sound like the sexiest energy, it's really like the motivated energy. That's why like everybody joins a gym and everybody like cleans out and everybody makes resolutions, because that Capricorn energy is kind of what like plows us through. So this is, when the sun's in Capricorn, it's inspiring us all to do the necessary foundational groundwork and preparation so we can show up as our best selves.
I love that. So it really makes sense why January everybody runs and joins the gym or starts calling the matchmaker or commits to a diet or commits to something.
Yeah, you commit to something. And really the work that you do in those first few weeks of the year while the sun is still in Capricorn really sets the tone for what your entire year is going to be.
Okay, so definitely make that commitment. And that is what's going to shape the rest of the year.
Right.
Amazing. So I had a question from somebody before, and I want to ask this question. Oh, I should let everybody know. Hey, if you're watching live on Facebook or if you're watching live on YouTube, you can ask questions. And later, Stefanie is going to do some card pulls. So if you want your card pulled later, I will put a call out and just say me, and you got it. Or if you have some questions for this amazing astrologer, Stefanie, you can ask your questions and we will get to them. So definitely this is interactive. It's very generous that you came here to answer people's questions, and that's so exciting for me. So a question ahead of time, can you please break down the myth of Mercury in retrograde? Please. It's such a buzzword, and it's something that, I hear people throwing around, and I'm wondering, what does that really mean?
I'm very glad that you asked that. So Mercury retrograde, it happens like 4 times a year. So every few months. It basically, the Mercury's not actually going backwards. It's just the way that the elliptical works, the way we can view it from Earth, it appears like it's moving backward.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually like goes back through like a particular sign.
Okay.
So whenever and all of the planets retrograde, but Mercury does it the most frequently, so that's why we feel it the strongest. And basically when that happens, it's asking you to slow down and not rush. And it gives you an opportunity to go back over everything that you've just been through. So if you think about it happening 4 times a year, it's like a quarterly review.
Okay.
So, oh, I made those commitments to XYZ. I said and I did this and la la la. Now you have the opportunity to kind of slow down and be like, did I really want to close that door? Did I really want to commit to that thing? And you have the opportunity to kind of like make changes.
Okay.
Which is why they always say I'm sorry.
No, please.
I was just going to say that's why they say like not to make big purchases, not to have any major surgeries, not to start new things because it's a review time.
When are we heading into Mercury retrograde next?
So the very first one of the brand new year is January 30th.
Okay. All right.
If you think about everything that you're committing to in this beginning part of the year, everybody wants to go, go, go because we're like so ready to be out of 2020. And so we're going to be basically trying to run through every wall and pretend like it's a door, and then Mercury retrograde January 30th comes through and it's like, actually, let's go back and review things.
Does Mercury retrograde affect people's love lives and relationships?
Yes.
Oh, tell me about that.
So when Mercury retrogrades, that is like prime time for your exes to resurface.
Ooh.
Yeah. So when you find your exes coming back, and you might find yourself kind of like thinking about old people, you might find yourself doing some internet sleuthing to see where they all are now. What are they up to? Right. And when you do that, you kind of get this like sense of closure. I don't know for me, but I love looking up an ex and being like, oh, look, they're married now. Or like that's so great for them. I'm so happy that they were able to whatever, or some people kind of can get like, maybe they're not, and maybe they want to like creep back in, or some exes might be finding their way back to you. But typically if that happens, it's not happening to rekindle the relationship. 9 times out of 10, it's closure seeking.
Okay. So in summary,
as an offer.
So Mercury retrograde is really a time period of reflection, closure, pausing. Did I hear you right?
Yes.
Okay.
Going within, kind of taking a step back, reassessing.
Excellent. Well, thank you. It's just been a buzzword, and I wanted to get a little clarity on that. So yeah, let's dive a little bit more into, you were calling it the unfolding story of 2021 and how much better this year might be. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So we mentioned that we start off in Capricorn season. Mm-hmm. And though all of those wonderful benefits of Capricorn, when it's just for a few weeks, you can really maximize it. But 2020 in general was a Capricorn heavy year. So we had big planets that all met up in January that kind of combusted and incited, and it was like the catalyst for everything basically that happened, the pandemic, the riots, like just when you have these major planets, you have Saturn and Pluto. So Saturn is the planet of stability and structure, commitment, and our society meeting up with Pluto, planet of death and destruction, transformation and rebirth. So they come together and they're like, hey, anything in your life or your society that isn't sustainable is coming crashing down.
Wow. So people were definitely feeling that.
Yeah.
A
lot, relationships ending, jobs ending, just everything, the way we live, the way we are out in the world, and our structures needing to be kind of torn down and rebuilt. Happening collectively, but also personally.
Wow. What do you see in regards to after people have made that commitment to work on themselves a little bit? What do you see happening next? And then we have some great comments. I'd love to get to some of the comments, but what do you see?
There's like a lot of comments. All right.
I know.
Just like briefly,
go for it.
The great thing about transits, even when they're like tumultuous, they're not forever. They pass, so the planets move apart and then they start moving into other signs. So this year we start now with Saturn and Jupiter moving into Aquarius.
Okay.
So, an air sign, Aquarius is an air sign coming through with innovation and fresh air, kind of like breathing and giving some levity to all that heavy energy of last year. So yeah, I don't know if you can kind of feel it because they already moved. They just moved like a week ago.
Yeah.
So everything is kind of shifting already.
Here's something that you mentioned, and I wanted people to read that. 2021 is about change, new ideas, fresh perspectives, and innovative approaches to love and romance. I love that. With that said, you want to hit a couple of the comments? Should we bring some comments to the conversation? So just maybe it's no coincidence, but Kat is saying, this is amazing full moon tonight. Not a coincidence.
Not a coincidence, Kat. You're right. Thank you for pointing that out. This is the last full moon of 2020, and full moons are about culminations and then release.
Amazing.
So tonight it's like releasing all of the energy so we can clear some space, which Shana and I thought would be a great night to pull some cards of like, what's kind of leaving so we can create this space to, let love and romance and opportunity in.
And it actually wasn't a coincidence, because when we talked about this, we thought between like Christmas to New Year is a great time. People are ready to reflect and then jump into action. So with that said, here's a couple other comments. I know people are asking for cards, which is amazing, and we're going to get to that. I just wanted to shout out to my matchmaker friend Valerie. Thank you, Valerie. I just love it when, as matchmakers, we support each other and we jump on each other's lives and court. Thank you. Glad that you're here. And Yasmin has a great question. Is it a good time to take a break from your partner to study the relationship?
Absolutely.
Do you want to say anything more about that? Why would this time period be a good time?
Well, like you mentioned before, we're on, the cusp in between this new energy. So kind of taking a break. And anytime you step back from something, you're able to gain more perspective on it. And if you're feeling that internally, like you should, or that feels aligned for you, then there's probably something there, really taking a step back and looking at, Capricorn energy, look at your goals. What do you want to commit to? Do you and your partner have the same goals for the relationship.
That's great. And when people come back together and they want to, talk about the relationship, this is something really interesting because as an astrologer, people probably come to you for alternate ways of knowing. Do you deal with couples? Can you talk about that?
I love doing couples work. There's a couple of different charts you can do. So you can do a synastry chart, which is where you take, birth chart of one person, birth chart of the other person, and you lay them over the top. And then you can see where the planets fall. So like if your partner's Mars falls in like your sexuality house, and like you're going to have great sex.
Okay.
And that's going to be a thing.
All right.
And like if your sun falls in their romance house, then like you're going to see them and be attracted to them right away. So it's like it shows you how you experience and what your attraction is. And there's a second chart you can do called a composite chart, and that actually takes it's like a mathematical equation that makes a new chart combining both people's information, and it gives you like a soul chart of the actual relationship.
That's amazing. So Stefanie, as I'm matching people, we should definitely connect more, because if they have charts that align for, a great relationship, amazing sex, all of that, then, you're going to help my work. It became really popular. Honestly, I don't know who saw Indian matchmaking.
I was just about to say that. I was like, when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, I want to be that astrologer that works with the matchmakers. And I swear, like, when you reached out and you wanted to do this, I was like, oh, my dreams are coming true. We're manifesting this.
Thank goodness, because literally that was one of my inspirations from that show. And I was like, where can I get a face reader? And I was like, I don't know if anybody saw the show, but they had like face readers. And then I thought, tarot and astrology is amazing. And I love to enhance, when people come to a matchmaker, they are looking for somebody to enhance their life. And if you have another way of knowing and understanding how two people can enhance their lives, I'm all for it. That's amazing. So have you ever worked with somebody and they just ask you about their love and whatnot? Yeah.
That's a big part of what I do. And it's, using astrology is great for timing questions. Everybody wants to know, well, when is a good time? And that's not for tarot.
Okay.
That's a question for astrology, because where the planets are transiting, they're aspecting your natal houses, and there are relationship houses, and there's times that are going to be better for you where the energy is right, that it's more possible for you to meet somebody, versus there are other times where you might be experiencing a transit. Like for me, for example, this past year was, everything in my chart was like, you can be in a relationship if you're already in one, but don't try to get into a new one, because Saturn and your moon and Venus are all locked up, and it's not a good time. It's the time for you to just be alone and be reflective. So if you're in a partnership, tell your partner like you're going to need some time alone.
Understandable. Definitely. I've been married for many years, and even married couples need a little breather, come back together, be strong. When I say that, I mean like by using your communication skills to communicate what you need in the moment, whether that's a little, space and whatnot. So it's, astrology, tarot, it's definitely for the married folks as well. Definitely. So with that, I would love to hear if there's anything you wanted to say more about, just generally about the year upcoming, or do you want to jump into some readings?
Kind of both.
Okay.
I noticed that Kat made a comment, and she said, so all in, it's an ideal time to set goals for love and go for it. And I want to talk about that.
All right, let's do it.
We mentioned earlier that Saturn and Jupiter met up. They do that. So you have, again, with Saturn is commitment, long-term goals, building structure, stability, and Jupiter is like luck and go for it, take a gamble, expansion. They meet up every 20 years.
Okay.
So when they do, they're setting a new cycle in motion. So I wanted to say anyway on this call with you that it's really important right now to set your goals and your intentions for 2021, but think beyond that. Think about the next 20 years, like instead of calling in your, Mr. or Mrs. Right now, like think about like what do you want for your 20 years? Like think beyond that. And that's in every area of life. That's in your work and in your home and in your friendships and community involvement, activism, but obviously like love and romance and family and whatever that means for you.
I love that. So yes, you did let me know about that. So identify what you want to commit to and build. Think about the long term and envision the next 20 years. That's amazing because people maybe make vision boards or commit to the next 5-year plan. You do that? You do that?
I love it.
The 20-year plan. Wow. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So it sounds really like kind of overwhelming when you're like, oh my God, like, can I even imagine myself in 20 years? But the thing with Saturn, like Jupiter's like dream big as you can, and then push it even further. And then Saturn's like, well, actually, you can go ahead and dream that. And then I'm going to show you in small ways over the course of 20 years how to make that happen. Like I'm going to break it down into bite-sized chunks.
So it sounds like even astrologically speaking, there's a lot of checks and balances. There's, a big picture and then things you need to do in bite-sized pieces. But it sounds like what you're saying to me, who is not an astrologer, that's why you're here, is to just have a vision and to work on your vision and to keep going on your vision. And it's better to have a vision than to not.
Right. No more, I guess, accepting what you think is like available and saying like, okay, well, it's good enough.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that is amazing. Let's hear from, do you want to pull a card or can I call?
If people want to like dive in, if people are ready to dive into questions, then like I say we go for it.
All right. Amazing. I have a few people who want, I think, I can't pull people up on Zoom, but I can, show you who they are if that's helpful. And you will pull a card and do your thing. So Yasmin said, I would like a card, please. I know a little bit about her. She's an amazing baker. So I don't know if that's helpful, but she's an amazing baker.
So usually if somebody wants a card pulled, but they don't know what to ask, I'll kind of take a couple deep breaths and just kind of ask the deck and the universe, what does Yasmin need to know?
She did ask a little bit before about taking a break from partners to study relationships. So that might be something she would like to know about.
Okay.
All right, Yasmin, here's your card.
Actually, Yasmin gets two. Because while we were flipping, one flew out and I pulled one with it. Oh, yeah. So what you're going through right now, whatever your relationship is going through right now, your card is strength. And it's a major card. It's not a minor, it's a major. So whatever you're experiencing right now is definitely trying to show you what you're made of, that you're stronger than you think. So whether that's to walk away or whether that's to be strong and dive in further, like only you will know. But the other card that I pulled with it is the Three of Cups. And this is a card about leaning on your friendships for support. So that strength card with this is basically saying whatever's happening, you'll get through it, but reach out. You don't have to take it all on by yourself.
Thank you.
I hope that was helpful.
Definitely. She wrote thank you and yes. So something is resonating with her. You can write in the chat, if, I can't pull you up here, but definitely write in the chat if you did have a specific question for Stefanie as she's going to pull a card. So I'm going to call on Lisa. Lisa Rodriguez here. I would love a reading. Hi. So she would love a reading. If you're still on the call, you definitely can put something in the chat, or maybe we'll give her a moment to see if she's here to chat, or you could pull her card and do your intuitive card reading.
All right, so we're just going to ask, what does Lisa need to know?
All right, Lisa.
For 2021. Ooh. So the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords is can be a card about dishonesty. And it can also be a card about kind of not sharing everything. So whether that's not necessarily like somebody being dishonest with you or you being dishonest with somebody else, but just we don't always need to tell our business to everybody because not everybody has our best interest at heart. And so I pulled a card to go with it for a little bit more of a message. And the Page of Wands is a card about getting really excited about something and kind of jumping into it like before we have all the information and going for it. So I would say that these two cards together are saying whatever it is that really excites you and gets you, you don't share it until don't necessarily go for it until you have a little bit more information. I hope that was helpful. If you have more questions, just put that in the chat.
Yeah, thank you. Throw things in the chat. This is live, and Stefanie has generously agreed to be here, and I love hearing this. Kat, you might want your card read. Do you have any thing you wanted to ask? If you do, throw it in the chat. I see Alyssa. Hi, Alyssa. Looks like Kat and Alyssa said they're drinking wine tonight. Awesome. Congrats. No, we're having fun. This, I do a lot of these in the daytime, not this particular topic, but the night one I love. So this is fun for me. I like it a lot. So, you know what? I don't mind being a little, let's give a little example. I don't mind being a little vulnerable in regards to love and relationships. I mean, I am a matchmaker. People know that I'm dealing with love and relationships all the time. But hey, I'm a person and, I have my own love and relationships to consider. So, I am married. We have 3 kids. So here's what do you see do you see any shifts happening in regards to, we have little kids, you know what I mean? And so do you see any shifts happening in regards to my relationship with my husband? What do you see? What's in store? Little open-ended there.
Ooh. Hello, you got actually the Lovers.
Okay. Tell me about that.
I love that, the card that went with it. So the way I saw them, you have the Page of Swords with the Lovers. And the Page of Swords, kind of like the Page of Wands, jumps into things. Sorry, my camera's backwards and it's...
I know, mine too.
So the Page of Swords jumps into things without necessarily thinking it through because they're so excited, but it's also a childlike energy. So this is kind of saying letting some of that energy, not to worry so much about it.
Okay.
So you can kind of focus on this. So making more time for the relationship.
Yeah.
And knowing that the kids are going to be okay.
Okay.
They're, the world's not going to crash down if, you send them to the in-laws for the night or have a babysitter and really putting some romance on your, making it as much of a priority on your calendar as you do the energy you put into your work.
Right. Hear that, Mom? You're gonna get my kids for the weekend coming up.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, right. So Kat does want to know something. Now, before I put this up, and I'm going to bring it up, this might be something where you're going to let us know tarot can or cannot reveal this type of information. So here we go. Kat would like to know, did she know her husband JP in another life? Can the cards reveal that? I love this question.
I love it too. And yes, totally.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a card. This is fun. So I'm going to pull a card to represent Kat in past lives, and another card to represent JP in past lives, and a third card to represent the connection between them.
Nice.
And then I also want to mention astrology can just fully plainly see your past life connections.
All right. So we'll hook up Kat and you later.
Okay. All right. So a card for Kat in her past life. And one for JP. And one for the relationship. Ooh. Wow. Okay. So definitely connected in a past life. So, these are the cards. So we have, nope, got to go the wrong way. Okay. 6 of Pentacles reversed and the Empress.
Oh.
So the Empress describes JP. So whether that means that, you know, your gender roles were reversed in a different life. The 6 of Pentacles is a card about giving and receiving and money. So this may have been somebody you worked for, that you got money from, so like a boss situation. And the nature of the relationship is the 2 of Cups, which you can clearly see 2 people sharing their cups. This is kind of known as like the soulmate card.
She said she'll take it. And you said you picked an Empress card. I don't know if that's different or similar to like a Queen card, but Kat had the feeling that she has some royal blood in her, which you do, Kat. We know you do. Definitely.
I think she worked for the Queen.
Okay. That's awesome. I love that.
Maybe in this lifetime they came back so he could worship her a little bit.
Oh, I like that. Well, he does. So there you go. With that said, we have a question. We have a question from Lisa, and it's something we were chatting about a little bit off camera before in regards to what tarot and astrology can and cannot do. So I'm going to pull her question up, and I want you, in your expertise, answer her question. Lisa wants to know what zodiac sign would be perfect for me. She was born July 13th.
So I try to stay away from sun sign compatibility, because that's a small part of a much larger picture. Of course, if you're a Cancer, then as a very intuitive, feelingful water sign, water signs tend to work best with earth signs. But we don't know what your Venus sign is. We don't know what your Mars sign is. And those are really like your love languages. And your moon sign is your emotional response. So what does it take for you to feel nurtured? What are you attracted to? That's Venus. What makes you feel safe and nurtured and vulnerable? That's the moon. What are you sexually attracted to? That's Mars. So sun is like your identity and your personality. So I'm a Leo, and they're like, you should be with an Aries or a Sagittarius. And I'm like, not on your life. because I'm a Scorpio moon, so I need to be with somebody who is emotionally intelligent. So I would have to say, Lisa, like we need to look at your whole chart for that.
Absolutely. And well, that is, we are still here to take a few more questions or to pull a few more cards, but this is a good time for you to say, what if people do have extensive questions and they want to reach out to you? How are people going to find you and get a full chart reading from you?
Well, you can find me on Facebook, my Moon Void Tarot page, or on my website at www.moonvoidtarot.com, which has descriptions of all of my services that I offer and ways to book appointments with me.
Awesome. Here's something we were talking about. We'll get back to some comments in a moment. But here's something that is a bullet point that we should definitely address. You said to be prepared for the path to love and relationships looking a little different than what you pictured in your head.
Yeah.
Stay flexible and trust that the less you try to control, the more you receive. Can you please talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So, we all have in our head what our ideal person kind of looks like, what we want the house to look like, what we want the person to look like, what we want our relationship to kind of consist of. But it's really identifying what you want the relationship to feel like.
Mm.
And so if you can root to those feelings of like thinking about, okay, this is like what my core needs are, which why we say like be really write those intentions and not just write like I want somebody tall and I want them with a full head of hair and like try to stay away from the physical trappings and just say like I want to feel safe.
Wow.
I want to feel secure. I want us both to be financially stable. I want us, the person like they need to have a good relationship with their family, or we both need to like think about those things. And the universe will give you exactly kind of what emotionally you need, but it comes often in a package that doesn't look like what we envision it for. So if you can kind of like detach, be specific, and also open to like that path looking different.
Well, now you're speaking my language. Definitely. I love hearing you say that because it really validates what I do as a matchmaker in regards to matching people based on core values. And if people are stuck on, they want someone tall who looks like this, who looks like this, that's not going to be a good match. A good match is your core values. And like you said, how somebody makes you feel. And you don't even have to both like the same sports. You don't need to both do the same activities. You need to really have the same core values and that build from that. So thank you. I love that you said that. That is, it's in the stars and it's in our hearts as well. So that's amazing. Amazing. We have another question. Okay. We have, can we do Alyssa? Alyssa, let's see her. So she said hi, but I know she really wants her reading. So, hi.
Hi, Alyssa. Do you want to have anything specific you want to ask about?
Well, maybe just about, is there anything in regards to relationship opportunities or love and relationships for Alyssa 2021?
Okay. Okay, so I asked two questions. I asked what is Alyssa's relationship and love energy for 2021? And I asked what is the energy of her ideal partner?
Mm.
So all right. So the energy for her is the Three of Wands.
Okay.
You can see the person standing with their back to us, and they're kind of like, we see what they're seeing, and they're looking out into like the vastness, and they have 3 wands. So this can represent dating multiple people and having some really good options, but really putting yourself out there and not settling for what's around you, but also not committing to the first thing you see. Like not settling, not committing, maybe seeing multiple people at the same time and taking the pressure off of yourself to like commit when it's like, doesn't feel quite right. I feel like there's something better. You're probably right. There probably is.
I love that. And first of all, I get really excited. When you get excited, I get excited. I'm like, oh my God, what's she going to say? This is so exciting. So I love that. And you hear that, Alyssa? Put yourself out there. Alyssa's an awesome woman, and definitely put yourself out there.
So the energy of her ideal partner, this card's upside down. When it's right side up, it means they move extremely fast. They know what they want and they're like, pshh. But when it's upside down, it's not saying they don't know what they want. It says that they're taking their time. And it can feel a little frustrating because you're like, hello, can we move this thing along? But you're not going to be able to push them. I asked for a clarifying card and got the King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles is like a major earth sign card. It's definitely like, if you look at it as astrologically representing a person, it's definitely Taurus energy or Capricorn energy or even Virgo energy of stable, grounded, slow moving, but they commit and they commit fully and they show up. Earth signs are always, you can trust them. Yeah, boss energy. I love that.
Nice. Boss energy. Amazing. Definitely. Well, fantastic. This is really refreshing and validating, like I said it a few times, but just an alternate way of knowing things. You can't know everything. And sometimes your intuition is telling you something and you want to hear somebody validate that. So I really love hearing that, from you. Does anybody have any last questions? What I'd love to do is to hear from Stefanie. Maybe pull it back out to a wider picture of love and relationships. And then, I would love for you to have any closing statements and how people can find you.
Okay. So whenever people come together in a group, Kat, I'm sorry, I just saw Kat's question. She asked, will she win the lottery? I think you can do better than that. I think that you can, whatever the lottery can give you, expect that you'll get it from a million different sources every day.
You should totally connect offline because you are both very fun and great people. And Kat has already won the lottery. She's an amazing person with a great family and a great personality. So Kat, you already won the lottery, girl.
All right. Let's do, when we're all together in a group, there's like an energy for it. So I wanted to kind of just pull a card or two for like the energy of this group, of all of us that showed up on the last full moon of 2020.
Yes.
So I'm asking what we are collectively releasing and what we are welcoming in for 2021 when it comes to our love and relationships. Ooh. All right, I'm ready to let this go. 8 of Swords. Can you see the image there?
Bound.
Yeah, the person's bound up and they're blindfolded and they're surrounded by swords. So this is a card about self-imprisonment. Also, I'm hoping it's a card about being stuck in our houses and getting out.
Right.
I hope we're leaving like lockdown and welcoming in new connections. Ooh, I like that we're welcoming in Queen of Pentacles.
Nice.
You can see we had the King of Pentacles before. The Queen of Pentacles is, really being in your own like strong feminine energy and receptive.
We've had a female dominated group tonight, so that could be part of it. We've had all women here. Absolutely.
But it also could mean in terms of relationships, inviting in partners that understand and support feminine energy.
Okay.
So not macho.
This is amazing. Well, let me recap a few of the points you made. They were so right on. 2021 is about change, new ideas, fresh perspectives, and innovative approaches to love and romance.
Yeah.
Also, identify what you want to commit to and build. Think about the long term and envision the next 20 years. I'm stuck on that. I'm going to do that. And be prepared for the path to love and relationships looking different than what you pictured in your head. Stay flexible and trust that the less you try to control, the more you receive. Amazing lessons. Well, thank you so much, Stefanie. This has been an incredible evening.
Thank you so much, Shana, for having me. And thank you to everybody that participated. This was so much fun.
Yeah, thank you so much to everybody who participated. If you cannot get enough of this, definitely reach out to Stefanie. She's very receptive. She would love to chat with you more, and you could schedule some time with her. And you can be found wherever people are found online.
Yes, Instagram, Facebook, Google.
And show your book one more time.
If you're curious and you want to learn how to read tarot, the best beginner guide you could possibly imagine exists in the physical form now.
Awesome. So consider, if you are a little bit sick of possible online dating, if you are ready to bring love into your life and you want somebody professional to help you do that, you can always speak to me. I'm a professionally certified matchmaker. Talking to me doesn't cost anything, and I can get to know you and we could take some next steps. I can always pull in Stefanie if you want to add a level of astrology or tarot as well. So thank you all. Happy 2021, and cheers to a prosperous, healthy, and happy new year for everybody.
Yes, thank you.
Bye, Stefanie.
Bye, Shana.
Bye, everybody.